Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Quaran-Stream, where Entertainment Weekly staffers join together through the magic of video conferencing to discuss the things they're currently streaming. I'm Senior TV Editor Gerrad Hall, and joining me today are Digital Features Editor Seija Rankin, Associate Editor Derek Lawrence, and Digital Writer Maureen Lenker. Hi, everyone. How are you?
Hi.
Hello.
It's so nice to see everyone. So glad we can join together digitally like this. You guys know a lot has obviously changed since we started fully embracing the social distancing lifestyle. And one aspect of everyday life that a lot of us used to take for granted was sharing a movie with that someone special. But you know, just because you're either spending all your time with your SO or only able to see them through a phone screen, having a romantic date night is still an important part of a healthy relationship. And here at EW, we're taking the concept of quarantine and chill to a whole new level, doing what we can to help all of you at home. So Seija, what movie or show would you recommend to a couple trying to have a date night in the time of COVID-19?
So, I should also start by saying that the only human being that I have seen in the last month is my significant other. So I don't know what that means, that my pick is Someone Great, which is kind of a breakup movie. I promise there's no Freudian. I've actually just realized that as I was about to say what my pick is, there's no Freudian, anything to be read into that. It's just a really fun, good movie, I promise.
Well, okay. So what is it during this time? I mean, is it the humor of the characters? What are you loving about it?
Okay. I think a little bit of both. I love the humor. I love the characters. I love that it's in New York. And I know that there's a lot of New York movies out there. Everyone's been kind of talking about movies to watch in New York. I like it because it's a kind of one night only kind of plot that in so many ways are things that I'm missing about life right now. One, they're at a million bars, they're out at their offices, they're with all their friends, they're just interacting with a bunch of people.
Okay, so Derek, you are very outspoken about your pick of greatest romantic comedy of all time. See, they all know what's coming. So what makes this? Yeah, well, I'm going to call it a
bracing
classic.
Ourselves.
Yeah, right. I'm going to go ahead and call it a classic. What makes this classic a great quarantine date night watch?
Okay, so I mean, you guys know I love to really talk up Hitch. I mean, obviously, that's the number one thing. If you guys had to say something about me and explain me to someone, I feel like you could do it in Hitch. And I didn't want it when I knew I was coming on, before I knew the topic, I wasn't going to pick Hitch. You know what I mean? I know at a certain point you gotta mix it up.
But when I saw story.
Yeah, no, but come on. But when it was what are you gonna watch on a virtual date night? How do I not pick the most romantic movie of all time, in my opinion? I love Hitch so much, and I've watched Hitch on a regular date night and a virtual date night. That has already happened in this period of time. So how could I not pick the movie? And as Gerrad, as you referenced, I've already deemed this the greatest rom-com of all time on EW.com. So it's fact now.
I guess the next big question I have is, how did that virtual date night go watching Hitch?
I mean, I think it went pretty well, but can it ever not go well watching Hitch? I don't know. I don't know if there's a way where that doesn't end up well. Obviously, I'm a Will Smith diehard, and it's the only true rom-com he's done. But even separate from Will Smith, and this is as cool as he's ever been. And I love cool Will Smith. Not as big a fan of sad Will Smith. But
which he does very well also.
Yeah, he does it well, but it's just not. It's not the Will Smith that I prefer.
Yeah, don't watch I Am Legend for a date night.
I was going to just say I Am Legend. Moment of silence for the dog.
Yeah. Really quickly, before we take a break, I'm going to put you on the spot. Just give me a title only. If Hitch did not exist, what would be your pick?
Focus? No, I can't. No.
I Am Legend, right?
Yeah.
7 pounds.
Focus. Yeah. I guess Focus isn't a true rom-com as much as I do love Focus. Man, that's a tough one. I kind of usually hedge towards the more I don't know, the Forgetting Sarah Marshall types, those kind of that's I watched that one pretty recently. And that one's just so hilarious to me and such great performances. And and like I said, again, a non-traditional pick. So I'll go with Forgetting Sarah Marshall. If there was a world where Hitch didn't exist, which who would want to live in that world? Not me, that's for
you'd
sure.
You'd be a very different person. I can tell you that for sure. All right, guys, we're going to pause for a moment. We'll be right back with more picks for the perfect social distance date night. Welcome back to Quaran-Stream. Today's episode is all about date night and the best way to plan a romantic evening you can share with someone while still staying at home. Maureen, what's your go-to romantic movie that would work during this time?
Well, I think you can probably guess based on the pillows around me, but it's When Harry Met Sally.
There are so many levels, so much depth to this relationship, the arc of their relationship here. Tell me what is so enduring about it to you.
Yeah, well, I think it's so beautiful because it's realistic in the arc that their relationship takes, in that it starts with two people who really don't know each other and pretty much instantly dislike each other in a lot of ways. And I thought it was...
Isn't that the way a lot of relationships start?
And it very famously goes from them being sort of, I wouldn't go so far as to say enemies, but acquaintances who are not fond of each other, to friends, to then, of course, lovers. And I think it just beautifully captures the idiosyncrasies of relationships and the small things in relationships that can both annoy you, but also really endear you to a person, and how those can transform over time. And it's a great picture of like how relationships evolve and change, but also like a very realistic look at gender roles and how difficult it can be to be friends with someone of the opposite sex if you have any sort of attraction to them in any way.
Yeah, very true. I mean, it's just such a iconic film and scenes and performances. That is a great one. I like that pick. You guys, a lot of people, of course, aren't letting the quarantine stop them from seeing if their true love is out there. Derek's had a virtual date, but they're getting creative and going on social distancing first dates, which might be even more tricky. So what better than, a dinner and a movie? It's a very classic combination. So what would you all recommend for a perfect first Quaran date? Derek?
I mean, I can't say Hitch again, I guess.
No.
Oh my God. Wow. That's a great question. And I feel like I need an answer for that. That really could be coming up for me.
I thought you were asking food, Derek, and I was like, well, pastrami sandwiches, obviously.
What did they eat in Hitch? I don't know.
Pastrami sandwiches works for someone great too, because it's New York.
You know what? Maybe I'll go with, again, this is more along the lines of my Forgetting Sarah Marshall type pick, but I'm going to say Wedding Crashers, which might be like my favorite straight like comedy, but obviously I think it's also still a rom-com, because I think that movie, it'd be a good test of like personalities, right? Of like, if you could match up with someone, because especially like you can't truly get to know, I mean, I feel like you can't truly get to know someone without, having that interaction. So like this could be a good test of like if you have similar sense of humor and similar tastes and stuff like that. And I don't know, if I watched Wedding Crashers with someone and they were just completely out on it, then I might be out on the situation. I don't know. So I'll go with that.
That is a good gauge for sure. Maureen, what's yours?
Well, I guess I'll go with another Nora Ephron title because she is my favorite screenwriter. And I'll say You've Got Mail because I feel like maybe they could pick up some good like social distancing messaging tips from the emails that they exchange.
That's true. A very good point. Learn how to communicate without even being in the same place as each other. Granted, we could see each other here. You could see each other on the date, but they weren't seeing each other. But yeah, I totally get your point there. Seija, good, perfect first Quaran date recommendation?
Well, I think that When Harry Met Sally is a really good first one because there's so much to kind of pick out from what the other person's take on the situation is. But obviously we already used that one. I don't know. Was it really morbid to say like Contagion or what? Just because I think anything on a first date that can fuel like a really interesting conversation. And especially right now, given we don't know how long our new normal is going to be, like this quarantine and like this pandemic, if someone has really questionable opinions on how to handle the pandemic, then like that is a no-go, run the other direction. So a movie that would get them talking and kind of bring those opinions out immediately. Like also you probably want to like look back at all of their like tweets over the past month just in case, but I think that could be.
Not just our past month. Nowadays, you got to go way back. But
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, that's very true. And we have plenty of time to scroll way back on Twitter right now. Yeah. All right, you guys, that is our show. Thanks so much to Seija, Derek, and Maureen for joining me and giving their date night picks. And I'll catch all of you on the next episode for Entertainment Weekly's Quaran-Stream. I'm Gerrad Hall. Stay safe and stay inside.